Hello guys, we're going to watch a replay between myself against Han Solo of the Norns. I'm the Vampire Count, he's the Skaven. This was a tournament battle, and it was a best of one, so it was pretty much do or die. I hadn't played this matchup in a while, so I had to make up an army on the spot. And I'll kind of explain my thinking, and also be a little bit harsh on myself and point out my mistakes, because there were quite a few in this battle. I have a line of zombies just slowly approaching him. There are 5 of them. It's a lot of hit points to throw at a Skaven blob, which is kind of what I'm expecting. But it's also a decent distraction if you're up against a spread out gun line. White King will be supporting them. He's able to do some good damage with the Scab Scrat and also with melee, of course. Especially with the anti-infantry bonus he has. The majority of my army is on the right flank. There's this nice bit of terrain here which plays to my advantage. He can't really shoot me when I'm approaching from here. And I have the ultimate bunker buster, the Claw of Nagash. Also have Fluffy the Vargulf, and the Necromancer with Scroll of Protection, Master of the Dead, and the Rod of Corruption, which will give me some more magic if I use it well. Then we have some Crypt Ghouls approaching. They're fast, they do high damage to light infantry, so I can clear out Skaven infantry with them quickly, normally speaking. There's 1 unit of Fellbats, mostly just to chase stuff. The Devils of Swartzhafen. These bad boys have terror, so that's going to be useful against Skaven, most likely. Vargeist as well. And there's a Von Karstein Vampire Lord as well, with the Flock of Doom. Of course, the typical spells, Raise Dead and Invocation of the Heck. So, thought process behind this army. I think I can take on a wide gun line with it by crushing one flank and not just going straight at it. I have a lot of hit points and a lot of units that provide sustain and AoE damage from the Von Karstein Lord, also with breath attacks, and of course the Mortis Engine. Always a bit risky because some build luck is involved here. If you take the Mortis Engine, there's like 3 Jezzails, they can focus it down quickly. And then you don't really want to have the Mortis Engine, but if you don't have the Mortis Engine and it's a blob, then you're in trouble. But I tried to go for something in between the two. And that's also kind of a risk, of course. But right now, when I'm looking at this army, well, when I was looking at this army playing the battle, I thought, there's nothing that can really take out the Mortis Engine quickly from range. Of course, the terrain also helps with that. So I was feeling decent about my pick, going up here. And I'm looking at his army and thinking, it's not really a blob. There's too many numbers, or the numbers are too high for it to be a pure blob. His formation is not really a blob either. But there are some elements here that are usually seen in the Skaven blob. Like this Plague Priest. It's basically their version of the Mortis Engine. He has AoE attacks, he has an AoE spell, he has an AoE draining aura, and summon a lot of clan rats. But the most surprising part of this build is right here. Deathmaster Sniksh with an Eshin Sorcerer. Without going over their abilities in detail, these guys can basically burst down characters and debuff them really quickly. Especially with the help of these Helpit Abominations. They don't rout very easily, they regenerate, so it gives Skaven the longevity to grind it out in a very long battle. Some Poison Wind Globadiers. Don't see these guys too often, but they do have very good damage if you leave them to it. Yeah, mix of infantry with the most elite units here being the Tail Slashers and of course the Unbreakable Council Guard. 1 unit of Rat Ogres in the back as well for that mass. And yeah, crowd control basically. Pretty good high damage from them as well. Now, he probably notices the zombies are coming up. The real threat is coming from the flank. And I can already point out one of my mistakes here. I'm running with my army. It's not shooting me, and I gain little advantage actually from running towards him. So it would have been better if I walked towards him, but I guess I wanted to put a lot of pressure and, you know, not give him a lot of time to think how he was going to deal with this. So I am running in. These units will pause a little bit though. The Vargeists are baiting some shots and the zombies are slowly shambling in. The zombie is going for a bit of a walk, doesn't seem to want to join the battle just yet. Yeah, I'm thinking, As I'm approaching this, he's pulling his forces closer together, and it will probably become a blob fight. And the last thing I want to do against the blob is sort of blob up against it and give the Skaven the exact fight they're looking for. So I'm pulling back my troops here a little bit, and I'm putting down the Flock of Doom, as you can see. Trying to sort of force them out of that blob, generate some pressure. Meanwhile, my other troops are getting into position. This zombie has to be brought around again. Guess he could have come up from here as well, but I do want him here. And yeah, one zombie is summoned and is going to attack. So right now, I'm just thinking, like, how am I going to crack this? Which targets will I prioritize? And the obvious priority target for me here is the Plague Priest, because he is kind of the mortis engine of this army. You see the first Scab Scrat coming in there, doing good damage on these Council Guard. They have to be killed because they're unbreakable. But this was good damage, and I go in for the Breath Attack, and the Breath Attack completely misses, guys. That was a pretty huge mistake on my part. I'm not sure at which angle you should aim for this Plague Priest. I always think with characters you should try to be right on top of them. But Chosen of the Norns used this Plague Priest very well there and just dodged that breath, so that's some huge value lost for me. I also took some damage from the Globadiers while I was there. So I'm of course aware that if I land with anything, Snitch and the Sorcerer and the Hellpit Abominations could quickly jump on top of it and kill it. I need to be sort of hesitant to attack here. Now, my zombies, they're sort of just attacking, not really achieving much, but they are making the troops that they're fighting tired at the very least. But here I spot a bit of an opening and sent the Vargeist right into the back of the Vulcan Stale Slashers and try to pull them out quickly as well, of course. They are very good at killing infantry so long as they can cycle charge. But you can see if they stay in combat, they take a lot of damage. Devils of Swartsofen have already lost 2 models and 50% health from that little engagement. But the Tail Slashers are almost gone, guys. That's all in all not too bad, because remember, I can heal, he can't. Now the big attack comes in. I'm heading towards the Plague Priest. I'm trying to sort of protect my lord with these Devils of Swartsofen, make him a little bit more difficult to hit. You can see Chosen of the Norns responds very quickly, slowing these troops and hitting them with the Hellpit Abominations. Meanwhile though, I'm able to get the Vargulf into these Poison Wind Globadiers, although he's kind of fighting the Stormvermin Council Guard now. I feel pressure to engage the bats on the other one. Yeah, my lord, he's taking quite a bit of damage from this gang squad. But so far I'm able to pull him away, but now these other Vargeists are taking a lot of damage. And the Mortis Engine is coming to join the party. It's starting to drain, as you can see from the lovely effect there. And yeah, Mortis Engine, the more uptime it has, the better, of course. And here I see the Rat Ogres a bit exposed, so I'm basically going for these exposed targets with the Vargeist. I'm pulling them away again and attacking another exposed target, because Chosen of the Norns, he's not really an as tight a blob as he could be, I think. But maybe that's because of the Flock of Doom. Maybe he didn't want to stay in a tight blob because of the Flock of Doom hitting his forces over and over. So a couple Skaven are routing, and I just want these units gone. So I'm sending the ghouls to kill them off. Meanwhile, the bats are killing the other unit of Poison Wind Globadiers. But here it's a pretty big mistake. This White King was all by himself and took so much damage. I'm actually having to pop the Scroll of Shielding to get him out of there. And I think he's only used 1 or 2 of his Scab Scrats so far, so I definitely want to use the third one still. So I'm trying to do what I can to save him. But Chosen of the Norns, man, he was very good in this battle at just focusing whatever targets were exposed down with his... yeah, it's kind of a goon squad, isn't it? 2 Hellpit, Snitch, and the Eshin Sorcerer. And here you see the Deathmaster Sigil stopping that Necromancer from moving. So even though he's not using Scroak, I think this is a pretty viable tactic, because he knows he has some key targets he wants to kill. And with that Sigil, he can just stop them and burst them down very quickly. So at this point, my Necromancer gets caught. It's another mistake I made. I should have moved him away faster, because I don't think I got a single cast of the Rod of Corruption so far. You can kind of tell by his health there, and he instantly starts grumbling. I was a bit greedy with him, trying to heal the units around him, but exposing him to too much danger. Luckily he does stabilize though. There's still some units on the edges here. we're able to fight. Fluffy is slamming away at them pretty well. Claw of Nagash is here, finishing them off. I'm a bit afraid that it will take too much damage if it's not fighting with a ghoul support. So I'm not sending it into the big blob just yet. White King once again by himself here. He's going to get some hits in return, but all in all, he's up against too many enemies here to really do much. So the way I used the White King, especially now that he's debuffed like this, was not too good. The last Gap Scrat does it some units, but it wasn't really ideal either. At this stage though, there's not that much infantry to really hit. You can see my bats have also died. I think they did a good job dealing with the poison wind globadiers, but then I should have pulled them back sooner. Then I could have chased some units with the bats instead of with the crypt ghouls. So here, this necromancer is supporting these crypt ghouls who are kind of exposed. Chosen of the Norns once again grouping his troops and going for that necromancer really quickly. And yeah, he's just going to die, guys. I was trying to path him away, but I should have done that way sooner. A huge loss to me there, because he really supports these battles well with this Master of the Dead aura. And of course he can generate more Winds of Magic, which is something the Von Karstein Vampire Lord can't really do. And I'm using Invocations, I'm using Flock of Doom, I'm using Raise Dead, so with 3 spells I basically need all the magic I need, guys. Now one thing I do have going for me is this Claw of Nagash. It does increase the Winds of Magic regen rate, not the power reserve, but the regen rate, so I'm still getting some magic back. Right now, the battle is pretty even. We've both suffered heavy losses, as you can see. About 80% or over 80% possibly even of each army, at least in terms of numbers, has been killed. And I'm trying to regroup with my crypt ghouls. Chosen of the Norns, he sends out his Hell Pit Abominations, sees that there's not much threatening them, and he's really going for the centerpiece of my army here, which is this Claw of Nagash. But I try to threaten the units in the back here to prompt him to pull back and leave the Claw of Nagash alone. And maybe that's why he went back. Of course, I'm not really sure. But I'm sort of sending my units back in, going a bit back and forth while I regroup. I mean, I have 3 units of ghouls. I think it's perfectly normal that I would want those in the fight before the next big engagement. But Hell Pit Abomination charges out, and man, it gets such a big hit on the Claw of Nagash, which is kind of the main unit, apart from my Lord, of course, that I'm relying on. And it takes another hit. Main unit I'm relying on to win this, so not very good micro for me there. Could have kept that Claw of Nagash safer. I guess I was overestimating the slow aura it has. I'm getting kind of surprised that it managed to get caught there twice. So I'm putting my troops together, thinking, okay, how am I going to kill this? I've killed most of the infantry, the Rat Ogres are pretty low. But yeah, the Goon Squad is still there, and of course the 2 beefy boys, the Hell Pit Abominations. They can still regen for so much, guys. So basically what I'm thinking right now is, okay, I need to take out some key targets. The Plague Priest, Nyx, possibly the Ashen Sorcerer. And leave the Hell Pit Abominations until the end. Because if I focus on them, I'm probably not going to kill them. And everything else is going to keep doing damage. So Fluffy comes in here. Flock of Doom comes in here, trying to get rid of the last of these units. Probably not the best choice though, because it's mostly low model and single entity units. And the Stale Slashers get shattered, the Skaven Slave Spears get shattered. And yeah, Deadmaster Nyx is a bit exposed here against Fluffy and the Von Karstein Lord. The Vargeists come in again, because I think, okay, he's probably going to throw the Hell Pit Abominations into my Lord pretty quickly, like he's kind of been doing all game. And he's trying to do that right now. He was focusing the Claw of Nagash first, I was kind of baiting with it. Now he's bringing the Hell Pit Abominations back to really put the hurt on my Lord and try to save Nyx, who is still having some well, a heated argument with Fluffy right here. And I managed to route this Ashen Sorcerer, which is quite nice. The Nyx is not doing too hot right now either, and you can tell he's kind of trying to just save him and not really focus on doing a lot of damage with him. It's kind of the same thing with me. I know if I lose this Von Karstein Lord, I'm pretty much going to lose the game. But I also know that I have to make use of the assets I have here. I have some high damage units that I can't just keep out of the game. So this charge by the Von Karstein Lord, a bit dangerous, but we do manage to terrify Nyx, get him out of there. And even the Plague Priest, guys, gets out of there. These Var guys, the Devil of Swartzhafen, they did so much damage on him. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was surprised that I managed to rout him, because I wasn't really focused on killing him too much. I just wanted to block him in the Devils of Schwarzhofen. Now let's slow down for a second here, because there's one thing I want to point out. The speed of these units is being reduced by poison and by the Mortis aura. So even in a tight space like this, it can really make a big difference. It can make the difference between taking 1 or 2 more hits. If you look at my Lord, 1 or 2 more hits is probably all he needs to get pushed over the edge and start crumbling. So yeah, the Hellpit Abominations, they're coming for him here. Let's look at his health. This is very much Monka-S moment. That means a scary, tense moment in Twitch language. Sorry YouTube for mentioning Twitch. So, the Von Karstein Lord, he's going to chase off Sniksh. And I'm feeling pretty good and confident right now because, well, I managed to get rid of the Lord, I managed to get rid of the Plague Priest. But there's still these Hellpit Abominations, guys. And it looks like they want to save Sniksh, but it's just not going to happen. So right here, they probably just should have stopped pathing forward so aggressively and just fought it out. But if we look at these Hellpit Abominations, they can still heal for so much. And you never know if you're actually going to be able to kill them by dropping their health, or whether they'll just pop too horrible to die and heal back up. So at this stage I'm thinking, okay, this battle went pretty well, but these two things might just grind it out against all of my forces, which right now are some, well, beat up Devils of Schwarzhofen and Vargeist, a rather beat up Fluffy, the Claw of Nagash, which is a really strong unit, but mostly good at dealing with infantry. And my Crypt Ghouls are pretty much out of there, but they're still adding in the poison, which is nice. Yeah, we do have the Summoned Zombie here as well, which might put like 1 unit or 1 hit point of damage on each Hellpit Abomination. I'm joking about the zombies, of course, but they are quite useful at just soaking up damage and making it difficult for the Hellpit Abominations to prioritize the targets that they want to prioritize. Of course, there's the Crypt Ghoul in the back here as well, chasing off that Plague Priest, and that means the leadership is soon to be gone. Sniksh shattered here, so I think I'm going to stop chasing him in just a second. No point chasing him to the edge of the map is if he's going off it anyway. But no, I'm still chasing him. And I actually don't remember if I killed him. Okay, I killed him. So I'm not sure if Lord killed and Lord routed off the battlefield is the same amount of leadership lost. And that's probably why I killed him, because I thought killing the Lord would do more on the leadership of these Hellpits. Maybe someone in the comments can confirm whether it's the same effect or not. I should really know these kinds of things, but I don't, so to me, I guess. So the infantry is just kind of grinding it out against these Hellpit Abominations. The Vargeist, they're chilling in the air, benefiting from that Claw of Nagash regen aura. Fluffy took a lot of damage here, and she is not feeling too well, guys. She's crumbling. She can still regen a bit, but she's almost hit her regen cap, which is quite scary, because that's one of my most high damage, high value units in this battle. And I hope I can still save her by bringing in the Von Karstein Lord and giving her some more leadership, but her leadership is -11, so she's not doing too well, guys. I think I'm gonna have to say goodbye Fluffy here rather soon. It's trying to regen through the crumbling, but it's not really happening. So I figure, okay, let's gain back some hit points, let's summon a zombie, and let's send Fluffy into her last hurrah. She gets a good hit there. Then I try to cycle charge with her. And the Hellpit Abominations, you see how the zombies are sort of making it difficult for them to target the unit they want. Fluffy goes back in again, but here, maybe I clicked on the wrong Hellpit or something, guys, but it didn't look like she cycle charged properly, or even got a good hit in. She is going to get a hit here though, but also take a hit, and she's very close to dying. I think she gets another hit there, so she's doing an amazing job. Yes, another hit. The attack speed on the Vargulf is really good. But now, I'm thinking, why am I wasting so much time? I should kill these things before they regenerate too much. Because, yeah, they can heal a lot, but if I just do enough damage to them, they might rout, and then the healing doesn't matter. Just sending in everything. Fluffy is going to go back in here in a second. She's still crumbling despite the Undead Resurgent. Vargeists are cycle charging, they're connecting well. You can see these things starting to rout and eventually shatter. And this is why you have to keep them until the end. Because if I had to fully kill them, there's a good chance they would have had even more regen, and eventually would have been a fight of, you know, Claw of Nagash without any infantry support, because I was out of magic. And then maybe if they get a couple good hits in, the balance of power shifts immensely in the end. I'm pretty sure that's happened to some Vampire Counts players at some point. It was definitely not a flawless battle for me. I'm not too happy with how I used the Bats, the Necromancer, and the White King especially. But all in all, the game plan kind of worked, and it was very interesting to play against a Skaven player who didn't bring Skrolk. I think the thought process is, well, it makes the Goon Squad stronger, and he does have that stock, so he's a little bit more difficult to take out with Spirit Leech, which is something Han might have encountered. This was a good experience, guys. I got to the next round in the tournament. Unfortunately, I did not play another battle because, well, to make a long story short, you know, we are in lockdown, you know, we are in a pandemic. I had to go and pick up an order of food for my parents, something they ordered, because they're upload 60 plus, they can't make it out of the house. I explained the situation, and it really didn't take that long. But the admins just decided to disqualify me. So yeah, they didn't care at all about the situation we're in, or about someone choosing to take care of their parents instead of playing a video game for like 10 or 20 minutes. So well played to the admins. Very nice guys, good moral values. Yeah, just overall very nice guys. Good priorities in life, and definitely no bad karma. But whatever, this was a good experience. I showed that my Vampire Counts are still a force to be reckoned with. I beat a pretty strong player in a matchup where I don't feel confident at all. And yeah, I hope you learned something from this battle port. Now, remember, it's okay to suck if you're a Vampire Count. See you in the next video.